Hey there, YouTube. I just wanted to share a quick project that I have been working on, and I'm experimenting with vintage embossing powders here. This is a little wooden frame that I found at Michael's, and they have a whole bunch of blank wooden embellishments and letters, words, and all different kinds of shapes that are very reasonable. I think this cost $1. And they even had some of the letter wooden pieces that were 49 cents. So pretty incredible buy because you can get a lot of use out of these. And so what I decided to do was do a technique in different parts of the frame. And in the upper left, I used Pearl X powders, the pure pigments. And the color I used is, let's see here, Super Bronze. That's the Super Bronze. And one quick tip about embossing. This is the Sukaniko stipple brush that is normally used for stenciling, and it is wonderful for that. I also like it for picking up embossing powders and for the Pearl X. It's kind of like a little makeup brush if you've ever used any of the mineral makeups. It dabs on really nicely, gets a good thick amount of powder inside of it, and then you can stipple it on like you would stenciling. And so that's what I did here. I just used some of the Ink Essentials Watermark Resist by Ranger, and what I like about this product is that on the back it explains it actually has 3 different uses. You can use it as a watermark, and so you can also use it as a resist on gloss paper, and of course you can use it as an embossing ink. My other favorite current embossing ink is Tim Holtz's Distress Embossing ink, I think it's called, or ink pad. So what I did to start off with the frame is I just prepped it with some black gesso, and I thought I was going to leave a lot of the space black, but it ended up wanting a lot of color on it, which most of my projects end up wanting. And so here you're seeing a combination of, I'll just hold it back a little bit better so it might be in better focus. Basically what I did here was I've just started to play with melt art. This is UTEE, the Ultra Thick Embossing Enamel by Ranger, and wonderful product. I'm really glad that I got the 8-ounce jar because I think it's going to last a really long time. And I actually found out through Megan Beads is her name here on YouTube. She has a blog, and it's called Life in Paper. Just going to bring up the name of it here so I can give you guys the name of her blog. Okay, it's lifeinpaper.com. She also sells things from here, and I first found one of her videos on YouTube. Really liked it, and so I love when there's an accompanying blog and there's a lot more detailed information. She also has a lot of her videos uploaded to the blog, so that's fun too. And what she had said about the UTEE was that when she uses her heat melting pot, which is the companion to the UTEE product, she can make resin-looking embellishments. Like she can pour the melted UTEE into a mold, mix it with whatever colors or shapes, and then the great thing is that unlike resin, you can reheat the UTEE, put it back in the melting pot, and start the project over again so you can get it looking the way that you want it. And that gave me a bright idea, which is that resin, I've sort of had mixed results using resin, and I've been using a really high quality one, which is ice resin. I know at Bisou Boutiques she refers to ice resin as jeweler's grade, and I will say that the projects I have used it on, it looks absolutely stunning. However, because I'm still pretty new to resin, I've had some flops, and so I'm going to try out, once I get a melting pot, using UTEE for a while in place of resin, because I don't know how clearly you can see over here on the right how much the light is picking that up, but basically what I did was kind of ink up random areas with the watermark resist, and I put, as you can see, some white embossing powder, and then some of the acrylic paint from underneath popped through. That's where you're seeing the greens and blues. And the UTEE melted on top of that with my heat gun, gave it a really nice glazed finish, which is sort of vague on camera. You can't see it as well as in person, but in person it looks really pretty. Down here in this corner, I used a sparkly silver glitter embossing powder along with UTEE on top of it, and I liked how that little section came out. And then lastly, I thought I would try stamping on the frame, and so I had this stamp, which I got at Michael's, and I believe it's part of their Recollections collection. This was a text stamp, and the stamps that went with this guy were, I believe there's a scroll stamp, 3 hearts, and a bird. So fun little stamps to work with, and I like that they're somewhere between, they're like a cross between the clear acrylic stamps and heavier rubber stamps. They're flexible, and that makes it easier for them to work on, uneven or curved surfaces, such as this bottle that I have been altering. What I plan to do with this is to use one of the more flexible stamps to stamp around it, and then play a little more with not only stamp ink but embossing. So here you can see that I stamped and embossed the script stamp, and I like how it came out. The letters are not particularly clear, and I think that has to do with one, the surface. I had never embossed on wood before, and it was gessoed wood. But, with a lot of embossing powders that I have tried, I haven't necessarily gotten a lot of the fine detail, and definitely, the text in the stamp is fine detail. So, I'm looking at it. You can tell that there are words, but you can't necessarily make any of them out. And what I used for that is Tim Holtz's Distress Powder, and this is black soot. This is the only distress powder that I actually have so far, and I heard a tip about shaking the bottle really well to get the distress look come through even cleaner. So I like how this turned out, and I'll remember in the future that, for the tiny little details like this script has, I would probably use a larger script stamp, which I have a couple of, and I'm going to be testing those out. But yeah, like I said, you know, the finer details may have come out better with a different surface and a different embossing powder. And so I'll just show you a couple of the embossing powders that I used. These are from Hampton Art, and it was their scenic set. I believe there were 16 colors. The colors are fairly, they're more on the pastel side, and they are pinks, blues, yellows, the one glitter one, which I really want to start working more with metallic embossing powders, because I just think they look so cool, especially if you give it the faux ceramic effect or some kind of enamel effect on top. And then I just used a white embossing powder from the same Hampton Art collection, and that's where you're seeing the white marks over here. And so, yeah, like I said, the UTEE, I'm pretty new to it. I know there's tons of techniques for using UTEE, and I'm also pretty new to Pearl-Ex pigments, and so far I'm totally in love with them. I mean, I like anything with sparkle, and this just, you know, the bronze gave it a really nice, even, beautiful metallic look. And metallics don't always show up well on camera with the glare, but when I look at it, it just looks very professional to me. I mean, that part of the frame, at least, looks like something that you'd buy, you know, from a store. So anyway, that is some of the stuff, or one of the projects that I've been working on. I also, in a future video, want to share a couple of mixed media canvases that I've been working with, and how I used UTEE to create texture, and a whole lot of it. This just, I mean, it blows my mind. This is a big bottle, and I think they sell it in a 16-ounce size as well, and maybe even larger than that. I used a 40% off coupon at Michael's, and so I think this ended up costing me maybe $6. And I mean, you can see how much powder is in there. This could go a long way, and especially if you have the Ranger melting pot, using it in a variety of ways, including a resin-like effect. I mean, this is just going to be multifunctional, and I'm also thinking I'm going to start adding it to some of my embossing powders. Sorry, I'm a little tired. And I think it'll extend the life of my embossing powders if I just sprinkle some of that in and mix it in with them, and then I'll also get a cool glazed effect from it. So really happy with these products, and am continuing to experiment and explore embossing and using Pearl-Ex pigments. So I hope you enjoyed, and would love to hear any feedback, or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And that will be it for tonight. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.